These are the jobs you may not see every day, but just know we're working hard to make Hillsborough County a better place to live, work, and play. Subscribe to our YouTube page for more great county-related videos, only on HTV.
In the morning is a really great way to keep your teeth healthy and start the day. But when you're through, here's what you do. Throw it in the trash, don't flush it. There's a problem lots of people don't know, called sanitary sewer overflow. A condition buried deep in the ground, inside a pipe where bad clogs are found. It's a problem we can all help solve, so throw it in the trash, don't flush it. Baby wipes, bandages, cotton pads, paper towels, dental floss, clog up bad. Medicines, kitty litter, cotton swabs, hair. Throw them in the trash, don't flush it. It just takes a second to do the right thing, so toss it and let's keep our pipes clean. Throw it in the trash, don't flush it. If it's not toilet paper, don't flush it. Even if it says you can, don't flush it. If you're having any doubts, don't flush it. One more time, don't flush it.
Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Good afternoon and welcome to the April 11th, 2022 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should raise their hand or unmute themselves and turn on their camera to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments when your name is called. You will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I will ask Commissioner Lauk to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. All please rise.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with praise for your mighty power and guidance. We thank you for this day and thank you too for the many blessings in our lives, for our great country and for the opportunity to live in freedom. We ask your blessings on our leaders, and we ask that you give each one of us here today the wisdom to make the right choices so that our decisions will be in the best interest of the people of Hillsborough County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. With that, I'd like to ask the clerk to go ahead and call roll, please.
Bernstein,
Here.
Boza, Cardenas,
Here.
Fernandez,
Here.
Handy, Kamen, Kress,
Here.
Lauk,
Here.
Powell,
Here.
Rodriguez,
Here.
Joseph.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of minutes for the following meetings. The regular meeting, February 14th, 2022. Public hearing on City of Tampa Plan Amendments, February 14th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion of approval by Commissioner Bernstein. Any more discussion from the commissioners? Not seeing any. Oh, wait, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second to that motion by Commissioner Lauk. Is there any more discussion of this item among the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Bauza, Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Handy, Kress,
Yes.
Lauk,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda, we have the presentation of plaques to former Commissioners Dickerson and Dix, and Commissioner Dix couldn't be with us today, so we have Commissioner Dickerson here, and we have a plaque for her. It says, Hillsborough County City County Planning Commission presented to Amber Dickerson, Hillsborough County Public Schools appointee, 2018 through 2022, in recognition and appreciation for 4 years of exemplary service on the Hillsborough County City County Planning Commission and vision, leadership, and commitment to improving the quality of life in our community. Congratulations, Commissioner Dickerson.
I just wanted to quickly thank you all for this recognition. That was super sweet, and it was lovely working with many of you. Some of you are new, but hopefully we'll have an opportunity to work together soon again. And it was great to see both your leadership and professionalism of Ms. Zornita and her team throughout this whole time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Dickerson. All right. Our next item on the agenda is public input for items not scheduled on the agenda. We have one person sign up to give comment, and I'm not sure what they signed up for, so I'm just going to double check if they didn't sign up for public input for items not scheduled on the regular meeting agenda. I have a Sam Morton. Is Sam Morton on the line?
Sam Morton has not signed into the meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have no one else signed up for it, so we move on to our next agenda item. Item number 4, our first action item is 4A, City of Tampa Future Land Use Assessment Consultant Contract, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Good afternoon. Jennifer Malone here. Just bear with me while I open up my presentation in person. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Lionel. So Jennifer Malone with your Planning Commission staff. This is the City of Tampa Future Land Use Assessment Consultant Contract. As I'm sure most of you are aware, we've kicked off updating the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan. The public output, we're in the public output stage right now, and so this is our logo, Live, Grow, Thrive 2045, and we have a website set up where we're soliciting feedback from the public. But while we're doing that, we came together as staff and we determined that there's a lot of items in the future land use section that would require a level of analysis that's best going to be conducted by a consultant. And so we took a look at the future land use element and put our heads together as staff, and we found that we really needed a consultant to look at the categories in the plan and associated policy provisions that provides an incentive or targeted outcome above the future land use category. So we'd like the consultant to also examine the effectiveness of the associated policy provisions, provide recommendations to address the overall structure of the future land use categories, and we really put a big emphasis on out-of-the-box ideas and creative solutions. That's what the public and our partner at the city is looking for as well, so that was a big focus when we went out for the request for proposals process. So in January, we released this. There was a web page. We emailed the approved providers. This was advertised in APA Florida, and there was a note about it in the Planning Commission newsletter. Applications were received in February, and in March, we conducted interviews and selected the applicant. The interview panel, or the panel that selected the applicant, also included our partners at the City of Tampa as well, so they weighed in and had input on the selection. We ended up selecting Pritchett Steinbeck Group based on their innovative approach to assessing land use outcomes, their willingness to conduct frequent check-ins with staff, and understanding and strategy to address any needed course corrections throughout the project. And they had a very nice tie-in to City of Tampa's Transforming Tampa's Tomorrow, the T3 initiatives I'm sure you all have heard about. So this is our proposed schedule. The consultant will start by looking at existing plan review, having interviews with staff, just general information gathering, and develop some performance criteria. And the consultant will also do a SWOT analysis of existing policies and provisions, come up with some recommendations. There'll be a planning commission workshop and a memorandum to the city council so they stay informed throughout this process. In July and September, Planning Commission staff will review the recommendations and refinement. There will be presentations to the Planning Commission and City Council in the fall. And then through the end of the year, the recommendations will be finalized and the final report will be delivered to Planning Commission staff. And so with that, we would ask that staff recommends that the Planning Commission authorize the Executive Director to sign the City of Tampa Future Land Use Assessment Contract with Pritchett Steinbeck Group, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. All right, we didn't have anyone sign up for public comment on this one, so I'll turn it over to the commissioners for questions. Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Has this group done anything like this, before for other municipalities?
Yes, there were other examples of how they had looked at other plans, future land use sections in particular, and that was another reason why our group felt that this group would be well suited for this type of work.
Okay, all right, because I heard you say that they were willing to communicate with staff, which I hope they would be willing to do that anyway, working with us, but hopefully they had some other experience besides that.
Yes, yeah, they gave us a very detailed packet with a lot of examples, not only in Florida, but also around the Southeast as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner Kress.
I'm familiar with their work, and I think they'll do a great job, and I'd like to make a motion for the Executive Director to execute the contract if there's no other questions.
Well, I had a question, but I'll get to your motion in just a second. I did have a couple questions, nothing too major. I just wanted you to take a moment to talk for just a second on the process behind selecting the consultant. In reading the report, I guess I got the idea of why staff liked the consultant, but I just wanted to be sure that the process of selecting the consultant was a fair one to everyone who was involved, and there wasn't much language towards that in the documentation. I know it obviously happened, so I just wanted you to speak on that a little bit.
Sure. Should I answer this question, or should I turn it over to Melissa Z on the process? No. Okay. So we had about a month that it was open. So like I said, we really wanted to allow enough time for as many consultants to apply as possible. So we made sure that there was a full month that this was open, and we did all of that advertising. And then once there's a scoring process. So we looked at the 3 that applied, staff scored them independently, and we each shared our scores independent of one another. So we kind of determined, which ones were what we were thinking at that point. And then after the interviews, we met again as staff and kind of put our heads together. And we took this very seriously. There was even some follow-up questions that we asked some of the consultants in email to kind of clarify a couple of questions for us.
Okay, very good, very good. My only other comment, I noticed that we were one of the Planning Commission, smallest cost throughout the contract. I thought that was kind of cool and interesting. Hopefully it points to the fact that we get stuff done pretty efficiently. But other than that, I thought it was interesting. It appears, if you do the numbers in this thing, the 7-month contract, the total hours, you divide it out by a 40-hour work week, the consultant's going to be putting a significant amount of their work into this project. So they just making sure they realize that everyone's kind of understood there. I ran the numbers and I was like, whoa, they're going to be living this thing for a while here, basically, which is probably good because of what we're doing. So.
Yes, yeah, we definitely stressed time is of the essence in this project, and they're probably likely going to bring on a sub-consultant as well. They work very closely with Kittleson, so they'll provide some additional support.
Very good, very good. All right. Commissioner Bernstein, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And maybe extending on that, I'm not going to hold you to this, but I was looking at the agreement, and it looks like there's language imposing a fee cap, I think, of $100,000. Is there any general sense, even a very rough one, as to what kind of fees this will likely entail, or is there a sense that we're likely going to approach that cap?
Yeah. We will likely approach the 100,000. Yeah, I'm not sure, and again, I can let Melissa Zornita answer this question. I'm not sure if any contracts have come in under, or, but my estimate would be yes, that this would be a full $100,000.
I would agree with Jennifer that most of the contracts we've had of late, because of the amount of time that we want to spend vetting their work products, we have come close to the maximum on them.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Are there any more comments or questions, discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any, then I will accept Commissioner Kress's motion to approve if it still stands. All right, and look for a second to that motion, if there is any.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Powell, motion of approval by Commissioner Kress. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to do a roll call vote.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Bauza, Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Handy, Kress,
Yes.
Lauk,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. All right. Next up on our agenda is a series of briefings and presentations, the first of which is 5A, TACPA 21-26, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 8116 North River Shore Drive, and the presenter is Danny Collins.
Good afternoon. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Today I'll be presenting TACPA 2126 for the property located at 8116 North River Shore Drive. This is a comprehensive plan map amendment within the city of Tampa's jurisdiction. Before we get started, I would like to provide you with a brief update on the request. As you may recall, this request was continued from the February 14th Planning Commission hearing. The Planning Commission staff is initiating this request to clean up a longstanding issue with the parcel's land use. The original request was to recognize the entire site under the residential 35 designation. At your hearing on February 14th, you requested staff to reach out to the property owner and research a less dense category on the subject site. We reached out via phone call, email, and then we also sent a letter to the applicant, to the property owner, to see if they would consider the R10 or the R20 designations on the subject site. The property owner agreed for us to proceed with the R20 designation on the subject site. Again, this amendment is a cleanup of a longstanding issue with the parcel's land use. Here's just a quick background. This is a publicly initiated amendment by the Planning Commission. It's small scale in size. It's approximately 0.42 acres. Currently, the subject site has 2 future land use designations. A majority of the sites recognized under the residential 35 designation, and then a tiny portion on the northern portion of the site is recognized under the public, semi-public designation. The request would recognize the entire site under the residential 20 future land use designation. Subject site is located in the central Tampa planning district. It's in the Lowry Park central neighborhood. Should be shown right here on our locational map. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site just north of the Hillsborough River. It's just to the west of North Florida Avenue. You'll see there's predominantly non-residential uses found along North Florida Avenue. The subject site is immediately to the west of Purity Springs Park. Just directly to the northeast of the subject site is a apartment community. And then to the west of the subject site, it transitions into a single-family detached neighborhood. Here is the adopted future land use map. You'll see the majority of the subject site is recognized under the public, semi-public designation. The northern portion of the site is recognized under the residential 35 future land use designation. You'll see residential 35 uses are to the northeast and then also to the east of the subject site. Along Florida Avenue, our property is recognized under the urban mixed use 60 future land use designation. The UMU 60 is a pretty intense category, allows development up to 60 dwelling units an acre and development up to a 3.5 FAR. As you move west from the subject site, it transitions to Parcel is recognized under the residential 10 future land use designation. And again, you have the Hillsborough River directly to the south of the subject site. South of the subject site is the boundaries for the Seminole Heights Urban Village. So it's just outside the urban village. Here is the proposed future land use map. This request would recognize the entire site under the residential 20 future land use designation. This designation allows development up to 20 dwelling units per acre. Yeah, it would recognize the entire site under the residential 20 future land use designation. Here's a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed change. Currently, under the adopted future land use categories, the subject site can be considered for 3 dwelling units or just over 2,600 square feet of non-residential development. As proposed under the residential 20 future land use designation, the site can be considered for a maximum of 8 dwelling units or just over 9,100 square feet of non-residential development. That would be subject to locational criteria. I do want to note that currently under the public, semi-public designation, the site can be considered above these maximums because there's no cap on density or intensity in the public, semi-public categories. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any. Well, thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item. TACPA 22-01 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, 2500 West Azeel Street, and the presenter is Sam Thomas.
Thanks, Lionel. With your Planning Commission staff, this is a briefing for TACPA 2201 located at 2500 West Azeel Street. Some background on this is a privately initiated small-scale amendment. It's approximately 0.73 acres, and it's going from residential 20 to CMU 35. The subject site is within the Central Tampa Planning District, and more specifically, the Palmacia Pines neighborhood. Here is an aerial of the subject site and the surrounding area. You can see the subject site highlighted in yellow. The site is bound by South Armenia Avenue and West Azeel Street. Over to the east, you can see the South Howard Avenue corridor. It's also adjacent from the Publix right here. The area is mainly surrounded by attached single-family and detached single-family and some multifamily apartment complexes. Additionally, there's a large amount of commercial area around here. Here is the adopted future land use map. You can see the subject site is recognized under the R20 future land use designation. To the west of the subject site is additional R20 land use designation. To the north of the subject site, and this pinkish color is UMU 60, which is a pretty high use category. Directly across from that is the CMU 35 category, which is all this area here. Down to the south of the subject site is a CC 35 future land use designation, and over here in this light blue color is public, semi-public, that is Memorial Hospital. Here is a proposed future land use map. You can see the subject site outlined with the black dashed line and is recognized under the CMU 35 future land use designation under the proposed map. The potential impacts that this request would have, currently under the R20 future land use designation, the site can be considered for 14 units or 15,899,000 square feet of non-residential space. Under the CMU 35 future land use, the site could be considered for 25 units or 63,597 square feet of residential or non-residential space. The amendment would allow for additional intensity and density, and would introduce the possibility of the RM24, OP, and CG zoning districts. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners on this item? Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
It's not so much a question as it is an observation, but now that we've heard from each of you, I just want to say how delightful it is to see you all in person for a change.
Thank you.
It's hard to overstate, how valuable it is to see you up close, and I suspect I can speak for all of us in saying that. So thank you for presenting in front of us today. Thanks for all your hard work, and I think for some of you, it may be the first time we're seeing you in person. So that's the case, welcome to the commission. But thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Very good comments, Commissioner Bernstein. As Mr. Collins was speaking, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Danny Collins, is that you standing in front of me again? What's going on here? Are we back? Wow. Comments. All right. On to our next item of business, TACPA 22-02, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 1242, Channelside Drive, 629 and 635 North 12th Street. And the presenter is Danny Collins.
This is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is Tampa Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, TACPA 2202. It's for the properties located at 1242 Channelside Drive and 629 and 635 North 12th Street. The subject site is located in the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Channel District Urban Village. It's also within the Central Business District periphery, and it's within the coastal hazard area. It's shown here on our locational map. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site. It's just to the east of North 12th Street, and it's north of East Twig Street. There's some frontage along Channelside Drive. Directly to the west of the subject site is a mixed-use development. Though it shows that there's vacant land on the aerial map, there is some land that's presently under construction directly to the south of the subject site. This is the Port of Tampa, directly to the east of the subject site. You may recall there were several plan amendments over the last few years in proximity of the subject site. There was a couple actually just northwest of Nuccio Parkway. Also, there was one at the beginning of 2021 that was north of Adamo Drive. Just a quick background, this is a privately initiated amendment. It's small scale in size. The subject site is approximately 1.53 acres. Currently, the subject site's recognized under the heavy industrial future land use designation. The request would change the future land use designation to the regional mixed use 100 category. Whoops. Sorry. Here is the adopted future land use map. The subject site is recognized under the heavy industrial designation. There is heavy industrial directly to the north, northeast of the subject site, and then east along Channelside Drive. Directly south along North 12th Street is our parcels recognized under the regional mixed use 100 designation, and that RMU 100 is directly to the west and further south of the subject site. I don't know if you can see on your map, but this green line here is the boundary of the coastal high hazard area. So the entire site is within the coastal high hazard area. Here is the proposed future land use map, recognizing the entire site under that regional mixed use 100 designation. It would be the same land use designation found directly to the south and west of the subject site, and then also south of East Twig Street. Here is a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed change. Currently in the heavy industrial designation, residential uses are not permitted. The subject site can be considered for just under 100,000 square feet of non-residential development. As proposed under the under the RMU 100 designation, residential uses would be allowed up to 153 dwelling units on this site, and just over 233,000 square feet of residential or non-residential uses. Since the subject site is within the central business district periphery boundary, it is possible additional density and intensity can be considered on the site above the maximum shown above. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item from the commissioners? Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Danny, just a quick question. The parcel on the south there, did that come before us recently? That's already the land use category that they're seeking?
I don't believe so. We've had several, let me just pull the map up real quick.
Like right there on the corner, or almost on the corner on 12th and Twigs?
12th and so this portion here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of a plan amendment on that site since I've started here, but I'll definitely look into that and have that information for you at the hearing.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Are there any other questions?
All right. Are there any other questions on this item from the commissioners? No, not seeing any. Well, thank you for the presentation, and move on to the next one. 5D, TACPA 22-03 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Jennifer Malone again. Plan Amendment 2203. These are 7 parcels located west of North Albany Avenue, south of West North A Street, and east of North Westland Avenue. We're in the Central Tampa Planning District in the North Hyde Park neighborhood. It's also located within the West Tampa CRA. Here's the subject site outlined in blue. We see we're north of West Kennedy Boulevard, east of South Howard Avenue, so kind of between North Westland and North Albany Avenue, and then further west is the intersection of South Armenia Avenue and West Kennedy Boulevard. The surrounding area is defined by a lot of commercial uses, but as one moves north, north of West Kennedy, it transitions to residential. It is privately initiated small-scale amendment at about 1 acre, and the request before you would be from Community Mixed Use 35 to Urban Mixed Use 60. Here's the adopted future land use map. The subject site is Community Mixed Use 35. We also see that land use category to the north and to the west of the site. To the east of the site, that darker brown category is Residential 35, and then further north is Residential 20. Urban Mixed Use 60 is found along the West Kennedy Boulevard corridor. And then this is the proposed future land use map with the Urban Mixed Use 60 reflected. This would increase the amount of dwelling units from about 36 to 92 that can be considered. It would also increase the amount of non-residential square footage from about 90,000 to 147,000. I should note in the Urban Mixed Use 60 category that non-residential square footage could also be used for residential uses. So overall, it would increase from a 2.0 FAR to a 3.25 FAR. The Urban Mixed Use 60 designation would also introduce the consideration of commercial intensive zoning on the subject site. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions, discussions, or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any at this time. We'll thank you and move on to our next item. 5E TACPA 22-04 Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment, and the presenter is Sam Thomas.
Thank you. Okay, next item for you guys is Sam Thomas with your Planning Commission staff. The next item on your agenda is a briefing for a comprehensive plan text amendment regarding cemetery policies. So a little background on this, it's publicly initiated. It got its start back on October 21st when Tampa City Council directed Planning Commission staff to research the possibility of creating a cemetery future land use designation. So based on our research and collaboration with city staff on this, we concluded that a cemetery land use designation was not the best course of action to take in this, but to instead to include cemeteries in the description of public, semi-public, and recreational open space future land use designations, and to define cemeteries in the comprehensive plan, and lastly, draft some policies that recognize the importance of cemeteries in the comprehensive plan. We then took these recommendations and presented it to Tampa City Council at their February 3rd meeting, and a motion was approved to initiate a plan amendment for the February 2022 cycle. So an overview of some of these proposed changes is that there will be 2 new definitions, 13 new or modified goals, objectives, and policies, and cemetery will be added to the descriptions of public, semi-public, and recreational open space future land use designations. The 2 new definitions define cemetery and unmarked human burial, and the goals and policies focus on recognizing the importance of protecting, promoting, and preserving Tampa cemeteries while also encouraging the protection and preservation, while also encouraging that cemeteries be designated under an appropriate future land use designation that are privately owned. That concludes my presentation. I'm here and available for any questions.
Are there any questions on this item? Discussion from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I could definitely agree or see why we would add that to the public, semi-public, but I'm not sure that I would include cemeteries in recreational. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like that's a good recreation that I want to participate in, but I just don't know how that got into there.
I could offer some explanation on that. The City of Tampa actually has directed or Planning Commission staff to recognize parks as under the Recreation Open Space Future Land Use Designation, and as some of, if not all, I think almost all the cemeteries that are owned by the City of Tampa have gone through that process of being changed to recreational open space, which is why we included them in that. That's actually one of my next briefings for you, is on a cemetery for that.
Yes, Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can also talk on that. FEMA counts open space as credits toward your ability to be resilient. So a lot of local governments are changing anything they can that would be appropriate to an open space type of designation.
Very good. Are there any more questions or discussion on this item from the commissioners? All right, seeing none, we'll thank you and move on to our next item, which happens to be you again, TACPA 22-05, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment. To you, Mr. Thomas, again.
Okay, Sam Thomas with your Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 2205 Jackson Heights Cemetery, so keeping on with the cemetery topic. Here's your general locator map. It's located in the central Tampa Planning District, the East Tampa Urban Village, and the Jackson Heights neighborhood. A little background on this, it was publicly initiated by Tampa City Council. It's to recognize existing Tampa city parks. Each park is listed on the City of Tampa's dedicated park list, and all sites would be recognized through the Recreational Open Space Future Land Use Designation. Here's an aerial overview of the subject site and the surrounding area. Jackson Heights is bound by Lindell Avenue to the north, North 37th Street to the east, East Lake Avenue to the south, and 36th Street to the west. The area is currently mainly single-family detached homes. You can see to the east that there's some light industrial uses over there. Over to the west here is a multifamily apartment development, and this right here is the NFL Youth Center. Down here to the southeast is the City of Tampa Public Works building. Here's the adopted future land use map. You can see the site is currently recognized under the public semi-public future land use designation. To the north of the site is a residential 10 future land use designation. To the south is the CC 35 designation and some additional R10 uses. As you can see, once you transition to the east of the site, almost the entire area is recognized under the light industrial category. Here's a map depicting the proposed future land use designation. You can see the site is then colored in green, representing the recreational open space future land use. Some overview of the impacts of changes. Under the existing future land use designation of public, semi-public, there's no maximum defined amount of residential or non-residential development space that is permitted. It's mainly based or presented based on what the area is already developed like, so it would based on form, not what is proposed. So there is no limits on FAR or the development potential. By moving it over to the recreational open space future land use category, it eliminates that potential altogether. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, were there any questions or comments, discussion from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
This might touch a little bit on Commissioner Powell's comments earlier, and I don't mean to put you on the spot because it may be more of a legal question, but is it fair to assume that by redesignating a cemetery such as this as essentially for recreational use or open space, that we're not potentially opening up the cemetery grounds for use as a recreational facility by others in the public? I mean, I'm sure, those who go to the cemetery, to pay their respects wouldn't want to see that, but I assume that that's not an implication of what we're doing here today.
No, changing this over to the recreational open space is more so just to protect the cemetery in general, not to let it be developed to be turned into something else. Between the city wanting to do this, their main, under my understanding, objective is to protect the parks from any type of development in the future and maintain that open space. And then when we add these cemetery policies that we're working on adopting now into the comprehensive plan, that kind of cements it even further that this will almost forever remain a cemetery. Now, I cannot guarantee that legally, but that's our goals of the that's our goals here. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Are there any more comments or questions on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, we'll thank you for the information and move on to our next item of business. 5G TACPA 22-07, Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment, Floor Area Ratio for Residential in the Regional Mixed Use 100 Future Land Use Category. That's a mouthful. The presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Jennifer Malone again with your Planning Commission staff. This is the last of the Tampa briefing amendments. So 2207 is a text amendment, amending the floor area ratio for residential in the regional mixed use 100 future land use category. This was also publicly initiated by City Council. The language is expanding upon TACPA 2111 to include the regional mixed use 100 future land use designation in that language. If any commissioners were here a couple months ago, they might recall that 2111 was also initiated by City Council to remove the allowance for single-use residential structures to apply for the floor area ratio to determine maximum development potential in the South and New Tampa planning districts. So if one multifamily development came in South or New Tampa in certain future land use categories, they could not utilize the floor area ratio to determine their maximum. Right now, the language in the plan kind of allows developers whichever is more beneficial. 2111 changed that language, and then this amendment will add the regional mixed use 100 as well as one of those designations that would not allow that. That would be in South and New Tampa. I have a map of the regional mixed use 100 by planning district. So you see there's only a little bit of it in South Tampa, about 92 acres. It's generally south of Kennedy, very close to West Shore. There's none of it in New Tampa, but staff has added New Tampa in the geographies of this language to remain consistent with the previous amendment and the language across the plan. So this is essentially the only area it would really affect in the city is where I've circled that in yellow. And I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions or comments, discussions, this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. Well, thank you for the information and move on to the next item. We are at 5H, Fowler Avenue Visioning Status Update, and the presenter is Jay Collins.
Good afternoon, Chair. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Planning Commissioners. My name is Jay Collins with the Planning Commission staff. With me today is Mary Ann Abrahamson, also with our staff. There we go. I have to break the all of us being there in person. Unfortunately, I'm hoping this is just allergies and that's all it is, but got to be safe, right? Fowler Avenue Visioning Study, basically we'd like to give you an update to a study that has not yet begun. So what are we talking about here? Talking about something that has been requested by the City of Tampa and by unincorporated Hillsborough County, and they will also be partnering with us on this visioning study. And we would look to align a vision with the timelines of what's going on with the Florida Department of Transportation and Hillsborough Area Regional Transit with their work that they are doing on Fowler Avenue. With our partners, we've looked at actually providing an idea of the geography of this study, which would be I-275 to the west, 52nd Street to the east, which is the jurisdictional, basically where the city limits ends and Temple Terrace begins. And then to the north, 127th Street, and to the south, CSX right-of-way. Basically, that's a lot of property, and there's a lot of different contexts that you go through in that area. So there's a good bit of conversation that we can have with the neighborhoods in there and hopefully be able to find that vision for this corridor and be able to provide that going forward. So a little bit about that vision. Cohesive vision for Fowler Avenue's redevelopment. and a holistic community engagement. That's part of this right off the bat for the vision plan is what does this community see itself with what's happening along this community? And when I say what's happening along this community, I'm talking about some of the infrastructure investments that are occurring specifically involved in transit along Fowler and the redevelopment of Fowler Avenue. Collaboration across jurisdictions and partner agencies for coordination and planning efforts. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And then update that comprehensive plan policy and land development code regulation. Talk a little bit about that. Fowler Avenue is different than other streets that we have in unincorporated Hillsborough County. When you travel on Fowler Avenue, right there in front of the University Mall, when you walk on that sidewalk right on Fowler Avenue, that first 150 feet is in the city of Tampa. Then you keep traveling a little bit further north and all of a sudden you're in unincorporated Hillsborough County. So the mall itself is in unincorporated county, but all of those frontage properties that you see, some of those restaurants and banks and gas stations that are on Fowler Avenue, those are actually in the city of Tampa. So it creates a very interesting juxtaposition of some of the land use and planning policies that you have in this area. So what are the deliverables? There's three main deliverables. There's that vision plan that we spoke of for a unified idea of what Fowler Avenue can become. A redevelopment plan, which looks at some of the policy, but also some of the other strategic initiatives that can come out of that vision. What can we do to actually see that vision go through? And then an existing conditions assessment. Again, we're in unincorporated county in the city of Tampa. They both control their own types of infrastructure in this area. So there's going to be some areas that do not have water and sewer. There are some areas where there's sidewalk gaps. And some of this times there are gaps between the city and the county. So we need to be able to have a inventory of where some of those gaps exist. Kind of think of it almost as a SWOT analysis for existing conditions. What are our strengths there? And what are our opportunities? And what are our weaknesses there? This is a lengthy project. This is phase one. This is an 18-month timeline. So as we're traveling down Fowler Avenue, let's look in the rear view mirror. So we've done some work on Fowler Avenue. We, Planning Commission, the TPO, as well as a lot of other public and private entities. So there's been a multimodal transportation district study. There's a community safety action plan. There was the East Fowler land use study. What we are looking at is the current study taking those and actually building upon that and actually finding out whether or not we were nibbling around the edges and we can actually see that vision through all of those different studies. So what else is going on? If you want to look at Fowler Avenue as the center of the universe, what's orbiting that center? That's our star. What's orbiting the star? So DOT has its actual PD&E on Fowler Avenue. What has to come first, though, is HART has to make mention of its bus rapid transit. It has to name what type of infrastructure it wants to see on Fowler Avenue for FDOT to then put that into its planning so that it can go ahead and study whether or not how the how the roadway corridor will actually work within HART's bus rapid transit. The TOD pilot land use policy framework, that's ongoing right now, and it's been drilled down and studying in parts of Tampa Heights and parts of Seminole Heights, but that line goes all the way up Fowler Avenue. So we need to have a conversation with this community about TOD and what happens next in that. Outside of that are some strategies for how the plan can actually look at sustainable infrastructure, innovative zoning and land use standards. Again, we made mention to the fact that right there on Fowler Avenue, within a couple hundred feet, you have two different jurisdictions with two different land use regimes that are working in that multimodal focus. Also, within the university area CDC, there's the issues of housing, community development, and placemaking. So this vision will look to actually fulfill some of the strategic initiatives set by the IP, as well as some of the strategic initiatives set forth by the UACDC. So not to go back to where we just were, but just to give you the visual of it. BRT right there in the middle of Fowler Avenue. The FDOT study, takes it a little bit further afield and gets into all of that right-of-way along Fowler Avenue. Taking the TOD looks at how you actually have that land use regime working for TOD, transit-oriented development. And taking it one step further is to look for the vision, how it encompasses and umbrellas all of this study looking down at it. So again, what are we doing right now? We are looking at a consultant selection through an RFP. That RFP will actually be released to the public this Friday, the 15th. It will run for about 1 month. We will then go into interview processes, and most likely we will be back in July, much in the way Ms. Malone was for the flu assessment. We would be back for the Fowler Vision study at that time in July. We expect then community kickoff meetings late summer, early fall. So again, what we're looking at is to make sure that we line up this study with some of the other work that's ongoing, because we want to fit this niche in where it should. Basically, we want to either be driving the bus at times or at other times make sure that we're on the bus for that conversation. I want to thank you for your time, and this concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you. Were there any questions or comments from the commissioners on this item? Commissioner Fernandez.
So there's so much development happening around Fowler. I love it. Love seeing the high rises come in, USF growing. We're also getting a 35,000 seat stadium on campus. Is there any thought in the study moving forward of putting a Gandy style bridge connecting I-275 and I-75 with one exit at USF? Fowler's, 8, 9, 10 lanes in some spots. Maybe if we can make some more room for pedestrian and bicycle paths, a bridge like Gandy's would really help out. I'm not sure if that's anything that's been thought about or proposed.
Commissioner, there was some discussion at the TPO maybe 3 years ago about that concept from DOT. There was quite a bit of pushback from the city of Temple Terrace to the idea of their businesses being bypassed by that type of a facility, and changing the character of the roadway. And at that point, DOT focused on looking at converting one of the existing lanes for transit through this PD&E as the alternative.
I just bring it up because there's no east-west expressways, north of the city, and we're seeing the problems Pasco's having with their intersection, and, it's just sort of something I think we should be thinking about for the future, because I don't see that area, slowing down with the traffic, right, especially with all the development. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Are there any more questions or comments or discussions on the item? Jay, I did have a question myself on this one. I was wondering, I guess I'm a little unfamiliar with this one because it's been bubbling in the background for a little bit here, but what was the origination of this Fowler? So it says the county and the city have requested that we look at this. Is that the BOCC and the city council, or where?
Initially, I was approached by the city and county administrations about it, but they have, and we have, apprised both boards, city council and board of county commissioners, that we're moving forward with this. As you know, I see it as fitting in our mission to do this type of work, particularly when it's cross-jurisdictional like this, and we're well suited because we can see beyond the jurisdictional boundaries, and we have the opportunity to pull in the TPO and the transportation division into the conversation as well. But as per, I forget whether it's in the bylaws or the policies, any significant work product like this that would be a change in our work program, us taking on a project like this, we wanted to apprise you of.
It seems like a significant amount of work, this study. A corridor study, it entails a lot of people, and this seems like it's going to be a very time-consuming, very long, very expensive thing. I again, I don't know. It doesn't seem like I don't feel like I have a lot of information, a lot of understanding of how it's developed so far, and all of a sudden we're moving forward pretty quick on it. And again, I have a sense that this is going to be this isn't going to be a one and done thing. A corridor study, like you just said, that involves multi-jurisdictions, I mean, multiple municipal agencies, all the way up to the state level. You're talking about FDOT. You're talking about different transit corridors. You're talking about different constituent interests. I mean, we were 100K just doing comprehensive stuff for the city of Tampa, and now you're talking about a corridor study for Fowler, which I work at USF. I love the area. The area needs to be studied, but we have to be measured in the way we go through with these things and not pie in the sky running forward. So I just want to make sure we're not being pie in the sky and running forward on this thing, and that there's some substantive kind of backing or necessity for it coming from higher places. Like I know it's our job. I understand we're the planning commission, and this is our wheelhouse. Don't get me wrong, but our wheelhouse is starting to get expensive, it seems. So,
well, I definitely point well taken. So I see this as a really transformative opportunity that DOT is looking at this roadway differently than they've looked at probably any other PD&E within this district. Instead of looking at widening the road, they're looking at repurposing one of the lanes for transit. And that creates a real opportunity to look at the land use differently as well. This would be the first suburban corridor that we really could flesh out. How do we change it from an auto-oriented suburban corridor into something that's walkable, mixed use, higher density? This used to be the edge of Tampa, and now it's like, feels like it's in the center. And so I guess I feel pretty strongly that this is a really important planning opportunity for us to be a part of and to lead. I have talked with the county about our budget for the next year and the allotment funds that they give us for consultants, and that there's a $200,000 within that can be set towards consultants for this effort, because you're right, it's not going to be short or simple, and we're going to need support from consultants to get it done even in 18 months. So absolutely, and that's why I wanted you all to be apprised of it before we came in, like Ms. Malone did with a, hey, here's the result of our RFP. We wanted you to know ahead of time.
okay. Yes, Commissioner Cardenas.
I know that a few years ago I was in some type of informational session for something, and having to do with that area up there and just the issues that they're having with the hospital and people getting from hospital parking lots to their actual appointments. I know that they've been doing a lot of work to try to find a way to fix that and get all that to come together. I know that there was also different hotels and such in the area that were trying to get everybody to partner together to come bring it together, and I think it's great that we're seeing this come.
Yeah, and I was at an event, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, for that IP innovation group, and apparently HART has been given money by FDOT to implement a circulator in that area just for that purpose, because they had identified a number of partners who had that issue of patients getting from parking to the hospital and then around to USF. And so that's my understanding, is that they've now DOT has given money to HART to do a circulator.
I'll also say, just professionally in real estate, going in some of the areas, I'm seeing a lot of development happening there that I hadn't seen before. There's a lot of communities around there that almost felt like they were all mobile homes with large lots, and those are turning into new construction properties. And I can just see that continuing to go. And it's just that area north of, maybe even north of Bears, but even then, all of that is kind of in the same wheelhouse to a certain extent.
Good comments, Commissioner Cardenas. Thank you. Commissioner Bernstein, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One thing that it was easy to miss perhaps, but was music to my ears in Mr. Collins' presentation, was the notion that we would use this study to build on the foundation of other studies. And I think it's easy to lose sight of that, but studies can get old really fast. I get it. People are moving here every second of every day, but I sometimes worry that the reason our region sometimes feels study fatigue is that we throw out the results of a study done 3 years ago just for the sake of doing a new study, and I hope that's not the intent. I didn't hear that in the presentation, so I'd applaud you for at least trying to preserve what you can of utility from the prior studies.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Commissioner Fernandez, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a question. Does this study stop at 30th Street, Bruce B. Downs, and only cover the west side of Fowler of the university, or does it go beyond that?
It goes to
The study goes to 52nd Street.
Okay, that was in the presentation, thank you. And I'm just curious, you know, removing a lane from Fowler, I live right off Fowler, I'm just not sure how that's possible. I just don't, you know, getting to the interstate can take 25 minutes from USF to I-275, so I'm just going to be really interesting to see what they have planned.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. You see, he's going to cost us money in this study. I know. It's Commissioner Fernandez. All right. Thank you for that. Let me just check one more time to make sure there's no comments or questions from the commissioners. And seeing none, well, thank you for the information, Mr. Collins, Ms. Abrahamson, and move on to our next item of business. We have, wow, an action item popped back up. The compensation review of the executive director. And who's the presenter? The presenter is me. Okay, discussion on the executive director's evaluation. It's me and Mr. Robin. So I guess we have to discuss the score that we gathered together from our performance review.
Yes, the executive director's contract calls for you to have the opportunity to have that discussion at this point in the year after you've done the survey, that the results of which have been circulated, I believe, to everyone.
Did everybody have a chance to look at those results? Was everybody okay? Those of us who did take the survey, no errors or anything like that? All right. Did you want to make any comments, or are you just going to sit there quietly and innocently? Okay. Did anybody not get a chance to look at those? Need those now or anything like that? Just double checking. Are you taking a look now? For my part, I looked at the numbers. Obviously, my number came up, so that seemed like a good thing. I'm not sure about other people's numbers where they were last time. I did notice some threes, some things like that you might want to take a look at, but I'm sure you're already beating down those doors knowing you. So I didn't have any other comments other than that. Let my review speak for itself. I think you're doing a pretty decent job. So anybody have any comments? Any commissioners have any other comments they wanted to make on that? Or nope? All right. Then Commissioner Locke, sorry.
I'll say I refrain from taking this as the new commissioner, right? Don't have a lot of experience. But next year, I hope we can have a conversation about what meet expectations means, what exceeds expectations means. Coming from the corporate world, and if I look at this and it's my review, I have a lot of difficulty saying, okay, where do I need to improve? Where can I improve? Right? What are some actionable steps that I can take? And it's a glowing review, and I think that probably speaks to the performance that you've done, right? But at the same time, if we look at it and say, okay, where are some opportunities? Where can I get better? And I think it's probably incumbent upon us to give her those opportunities, or whoever our executive director is. And I don't know if we necessarily have that with some of the scoring in here. Just outside looking in, not being part of the committee for a while. So hopefully next year we can have this as an agenda item before the review, so we can speak a little bit about what it is that we're after.
Very good comments, Commissioner Locke. That's a constant battle for the Planning Commission. This executive director's review has been a changing thing since I've come on this board. So it's a work in progress, and I know Melissa's always happy to work with commissioners on making things a little more stringent or clear. So definitely try to do that. Any more comments from the commissioners? No? All right, we'll move on to action item B then, I guess. And this presenter is Melissa Zornita.
Good afternoon. So in keeping with your comments, we did take a look at, within the executive director's review, there are a series of performance measures. They are based on the strategic plan. And so myself, with the help of Melissa Dickens and Katrina Corcoran, took a look at all of those performance measures and are proposing for you all some changes to them, mostly to kind of increase them and continue to challenge us to do better. So, for example, under citizen engagement, we have consistently been able to meet the 25 presentations to stakeholder groups. So let's up that to 50. Then there are a couple of wording changes to add clarity to what the measure indicates. For example, changing it to one, in the partnerships, it talked about one new partnership. A lot of times we have great partnerships with community entities. We want to continue to build on them, and it's not necessarily a new group, but we might be doing something new with them. So we thought talking about continuing to have a partnership with a community focus. We are proposing to increase the number of educational events from 4 to 5. Let's see, the next change is in terms of mapping. We had been talking about mapping, producing at least 200 maps quarterly, and proposing to change that to an average of 250 quarterly. We've been exceeding that, but think an average across the year is probably more of a better indicator as opposed to whether one quarter is high or low. The next one we are proposing to change is the one related to regionalism and participating in at least 10 regional forums. We've been consistently meeting that, so up that to 20. There's one under transportation options that currently is initiate at least one item implementing the Vision Zero action plan, and the word initiate seemed a little fuzzy, so we changed that to implement and replaced item, because that again was a little nebulous, with recommendation, because that plan has specific recommendations within it. So those are the proposed changes. We wanted to bring this forward right on the heels of the review being done, so we have a whole year to measure it and implement these changes. So that is what I have before you. It would be up to you if you would be, the requested action is to approve these changes today.
Before we go on and I see if anyone has questions on this, I just want to check with you, Tracy. Last item was an action item too. We didn't have to vote on that, right? The discussion part of the review. Are we supposed to take any sort of vote on that?
No.
Okay.
No. All right. That's just for your information.
Okay. And there was no one to sign up to public comment for that item anyway, just to be sure, since it was an action item. We're moving on to this item B. Is there any questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Lauk.
All right, talking more than usual tonight. Under the internal agency enhancements, I made a note of that. So thinking back a few meetings ago, I think it was our January session, where you went through some of the surveys from staff, and I think we had some really glowing responses, so kudos to you and the leadership team, right? Great. I wonder how we can flesh that out a little bit more, maybe for next year, and talk about staff development, stretch assignments, some of the specific things we're doing to groom those future leaders. There was some language in here in this document, if I recall, talking about that's one of the missions, right? So I wonder how we're measuring that, other than I think we have a team builder called out here and a knowledge conference. With the turnover that we have, difficulty in hiring, I think you spoke to as well. And I think that's common across all industries at this point. I wonder how we're using those stretch assignments, making people feel like they're growing, right? So how do we measure that coming in, and are there any changes we can make in this document to capture that?
Yes. Well, I can tell you, well, one thing that we have implemented is an emerging leaders program, that the pilot group of that is just finishing up their training sessions on that. The other thing that we have done after the conclusion of we're not trying not to call it climate survey, because that sounds like we're talking about climate change, but the employee engagement survey. Is we just had 2 focus groups with staff to kind of delve into some of those issues. Specifically, one of the focus groups was with the folks who have been here about 2 to 5 years, who we really want to retain, and they gave us some of the lower scores in certain areas. So we wanted to find out why and what we can do about that, because I don't want to lose those folks. So we're expecting actually later this week the report from the consultant on those focus groups, which will have some potential action items. So I would be happy to bring back next month, something as an addition under internal agency enhancements, once I've had a chance to look at the results of those focus groups.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay.
All right. I did have one, I guess, comment. It's not really a question because I understand it. Enabling transportation choices, implementing the recommendation from the Vision Zero Action Plan, I'm not a fan of it. To me, it seems odd to bind the executive director to implement recommendations from that action plan. Do those recommendations come from this board, or do they come from other places? And then why would we want to bind you into implementing things that don't necessarily come from this body? I don't want to say this seems a little sneaky put in here because it might have been an oversight, but it gives me pause, and it's happened before in the past, so you won't get my support on this as long as that's in there, and I just wanted to make that statement.
So that's been in there for several years since these performance measures based on the strategic plan were developed. It is a part of our strategic plan to look at safety and educating the community on safety. We did have some discussion about that one internally about whether or not, because a number of the things in the Vision Zero Action Plan are implemented by the local governments, so we don't have control over that. But there are safety educational opportunities because there are 4 tracks within the Vision Zero Action Plan, as well as policy and regulatory ones that we could have influence over. So that's why we retained it.
But you aren't precluded from doing so now.
Say that.
The language now doesn't stop you from having that impact that you're looking for by changing this language here, right?
Right.
So there's no need to necessarily change the language is what I'm saying.
Not necessarily.
Right,
No, we
okay.
just were trying to make it a little bit more clear.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Any more questions or comments from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Well, I want to applaud you for being willing to tweak this. I think, nothing, as we know, is static in this universe we're living in. So thank you for recognizing that, what's good one year may not be good the next, and maybe to Commissioner Lauck's excellent point that we probably always need more clarity on what these standards mean. But I think most of these fall into the category of tweaks and really good tweaks. And I wish more of my clients would be willing to change their expectations from one evaluation cycle to the next. My only other comment is we've got the benefit of time between now and next year's evaluation, and maybe there's more that we can do with this than just tweaks. In other words, I think with the right group of people in a room together, we might conceive of a couple of new items that call for evaluation that aren't on here now, and conversely, there may be a couple of things on here that aren't as important as they were 10, 15, or 20 years ago. So I would put this personally in the category of an excellent start, but not necessarily an end point.
Yes, and I would just, thank you. I also would add that the strategic plan has a 5-year horizon ending in 2023. So next year, we're going to be doing a bunch of strategic planning activities with you all, trying to recraft the strategic plan. So we did recognize that it's towards the end of its lifespan, and so some of the things may not be what are the top priorities anymore, and we need to get into that going into next year.
All right, Commissioner Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I love maps, so I love to see the increase in maps, but can you just maybe describe what the content is in these maps?
Oh, gosh.
I might be new to it, but.
Varies quite a bit. I mean, everything from different iterations of the land use map, mapping of transportation facilities, environmental areas. We'll be asking the GIS team to do different analysis of the layers on top of each other and create maps. They just created a number looking at different corridors where there were bus facilities that then had different land use categories, trying to align where the higher density land use categories were adjacent to bus facilities. So that's just a couple of examples.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, are there any more? Yes, Commissioner Cardenas.
I guess listening to a combination of conversation here, this is kind of the simple divide between public and private sector and being able to mold to get to a faster pace quicker. So I think I want to say it's kind of one of those things where for some people it's easy, but when you look at your side of this coin, it's just such a longer process. So we recognize that, I think.
Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner.
If I could point out one other thing, I did want to mention that in the review, there is a description, albeit a very simplistic description, of what meets expectations versus exceeds expectations and remarkable are. I'd welcome further refinement of that to between now and the next review time to make it more meaningful. For our staff, the standard is that they meet expectations. So I'm very flattered by your high marks of me, but that's not what I expect. If I'm doing my job, I expect to meet expectations, and that's how we handle it with the rest of staff.
Commissioner Lauk, yes.
There we go. Yeah, my point in all of that was, do you feel like you have the feedback in specific areas where you want to focus in the coming year based on the results of the survey?
I think so, and as Commissioner Joseph alluded to, where there, I look for where there are variations, because I know they're slight, and then try to talk with those commissioners, probe into what specifically they were thinking and understand. And certainly, I know y'all aren't shy, and hopefully you would tell me if there's something that I'm doing wrong and let me course correct. So thank you.
Yeah, I did want to say also, I noticed like you, the scale for the reviews at the end, the meets expectations and stuff seemed kind of, but I've heard that a million times sitting on this board. Every year we kind of say that those things need to be fleshed out a little bit more. I also wanted to add in the last part of the discussion where we were talking about the reviews, I noticed when I was looking at the numbers, a lot of commissioners didn't put points. They went with whole numbers. I just want to make sure everybody's aware. You can do like 3.1, 1.87965. Like you could have put any point in there you wanted to. You didn't have to use whole numbers. So maybe next year we should like try and make that a little clearer when we go through, unless everybody just wanted to put whole numbers for, which is fine. But I just kind of noticed I was the only one who did like points and halves and any sort of decimal place. So was there any more conversation on the update to the executive director's performance review from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. I guess we have to entertain a motion potentially as an action item. She's looking for some direction on whether to update this thing. So I will, I guess no one signed up for public comment. So yes, I'll open it up for motions at this time from the commissioners on this item. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
I would make a motion that this commission adopt the recommended changes to the executive director's evaluation form with the understanding that it may be subject to additional review between now and the next time that evaluations are due.
All right, we have a motion to adopt the updated forms. Do I have a second? Commissioner Lauk, second to that motion. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any. I will go ahead and ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Boza, Cardenas,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes. Yes.
Handy, Kress,
Yes.
Lauk,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Joseph,
No.
motion carried 6-1. Commissioner Joseph voted no.
Thank you. All right, on to our, oh no, you said we didn't have to take a vote for the discussion. All right, thank you, Ms. Zornita, and it's back to you again, Ms. Zornita. Our next item of business is the Executive Director's Report.
Yes, thank you. The report was sent out to you on Friday. An attachment to the report was Diane Sauls, our legislative liaison in Tallahassee's report on adopted legislation. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to shoot them my way. We can get the answers from Diane, but that was her summary of the bills that she had been following on our behalf. In terms of my report, I wanted to highlight a couple of things. In the listing of meetings, it mentions a BOCC meeting where we attended to ask for a budget amendment. We were granted a budget amendment to repurpose our personnel budget to accommodate 3 additional positions. So it's not really an addition to our budget in terms of money, it's adding positions to utilize the existing personnel dollars differently. So we've had a number of retirements. We consistently are hiring, if a senior planner leaves, we look to, hire a planner 2, something lower level as we backfill positions, and we've yielded quite a bit of savings in doing that, and that has allowed us to accommodate 3 additional positions and to offer our existing staff a 2% cost of living raise because they had not received anything except for it in 2021. There were no increases, so trying to kind of catch up a little bit. Wanted to point that out. Also have been participating in a number of outreach meetings on the Tampa Comprehensive Plan update. Had the opportunity to speak with former Commissioner Michael Marino's group, the West Shore Alliance, about that, and the IP group, as I mentioned. Also had the opportunity to meet with the interim city manager for City of Temple Terrace, Steve Spina, and introduce our team, Mark Hudson, who's our liaison to Temple Terrace, and apprise him of what services we offer. He's really interim, aiming to have somebody new in place by the fall. So I don't know that they've got a lot of asks of us at the moment, but we wanted to make sure that he was aware of our capabilities to help them. And that really concludes my presentation.
Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? Discussion? Yes, Commissioner Kress.
Just curious, are you fully staffed, or are you constantly looking for, do you constantly have open positions? Just curious.
Besides the 3 positions that we just added, we are only down 1 person right now, and that's because Rich Clarendon just retired, and so we're filling that the planner spot that was a result of that. So yeah, I don't think we've been fully at capacity for long in the last couple of years, but we've had about 14 new staff people since the start of COVID. So and we have 50 people, so it's a big percentage of our staff that are new.
All right. Are there any more comments, questions, or discussion? No? Thank you for the information, Ms. Zornita. We'll move on to our next item of business, other business. Item 8A is chair's business. I have none. Old business. Anybody have any old business? There is none floating around. New business. Anybody want to raise any new business? No? All right, committee reports. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Affordable Housing Board did meet this morning, and the things that I think that we should just be made aware of, number one, in the legislative update, the Sadowski Trust was fully funded or the recommended to be fully funded. However, there was an earmark in there for, I believe Commissioner Overman said, for about a third of the monies that were going to be allocated towards a down payment assistance program for first responders. So although it's being fully funded, there is an earmark, for that. So I don't know how that's necessarily going to trickle down, but I don't believe we will be getting the full, allotment that we would have been otherwise expecting. And we also did get an update from Mr. Collins on affordable housing density bonus study. There was a presentation in there about that. I actually thought was really great. I don't know if that's coming for us at all, but it was really great. And I do have a copy here of 159 pages of the report prepared by former Tyndall Oliver. If anyone would like some late reading tonight before bed, I will lend this out. And that's all I have on the Affordable Housing Board. I did want to also bring up something for the TPO. At last month's meeting, the policy committee started to touch on the configuration of the board and how it is right now. And there is some plans being put forth that is going to look to potentially change the structure and the voting of the board. I want to just pull that up just so I can speak to it a little bit better, just to make us, aware. There's 3 scenarios that have been proposed, and essentially all the scenarios would remove the Planning Commission from being a voting member, just be more of a advisory capacity, more like staff, if you ask me. And right now, the scenario that's being put forth is what's on the board here, and Melissa, I think, can disseminate it out. It's also on our agenda, but the current configuration we have is it's made up of 5 BOCC members, and it would take it to 7. The city of Tampa would remain at 3. So they're not really picking up, they're not losing anything. Essentially all elected officials would be, only people on the board. So Planning Commission would go away. The Heart, everyone else would not have, a vote. And there was some reasoning behind it due to potential sunshine issues and certain people not being falling under that umbrella, and they also provided some board representation comparisons for our TPO board versus other boards in other municipalities. We are, of the percentage of the votes, 63% of the board is from elected officials. The majority of the other ones are going to be more heavily elected officials. I personally think it speaks to the diversity of our organization and how we're formed, and because a lot of different people have a vested interest in being there and having a say. But I think maybe at our next meeting, it's something that we can discuss further on an agenda item, if we can add that onto there, and then we can decide amongst ourselves what sort of position we would like to take, because this is something that will come up for a vote on the board, and I will essentially I guess as directed, take that vote, to the board at the TPO meeting next month. Not this month, but the following.
Commissioner Bernstein.
So just so I'm clear, Commissioner Powell, thanks for that update and for the time you're putting in. If the initiative goes through as you were to describe, and the only voting member, we would lose a vote, as I understand it, along with Thea. Who would that leave as voting members beyond the city council?
That would just leave Plant City and Temple Terrace mayors under the current proposal, and I think the school board, the school board would have a vote as well.
Thank you.
What would you say what the reasoning was, the basis again?
I caught the tail end of the policy meeting, but my understanding is that it's it was postured as a potential issue for Hart and Thea, that they don't fall under sunshine, laws, and I guess that there's a concern for that. That seems like where maybe some of it was, how that was postured. I don't know if it's, truly that, or if it's, politicians not wanting to have to listen to anyone else. I really don't know, just to be quite candid. But that's, how it seemed to be, framed.
Interesting.
The agenda item on the policy committee for this coming Wednesday indicates that the changes are based on two concerns: the difficulty of coordinating with agency representatives about transportation improvements when communications when communications on any topic that may be voted on have to be in the sunshine. And then that the concern about the portion of the board members who are non-elected officials and potentially less accountable to county residents. So, and it would remove Hart, Planning Commission, DOT's already been moved off, Thea, the Aviation Authority, and the Port.
Interesting. Well, similar to the last thing we got. I mean, it feels like Planning Commission's getting pushed out of everything, and we're just binding people to do bureaucratic stuff. It's so weird, and these are just personal opinions of my own, but keep your eyes open, commissioners. There's things going on around this county. It's really interesting, the way things are shifting and changing around here. I remember when Commissioner Dowdy telling me the story of him fighting to get that vote on the TPO. Interesting times. Yeah, Commissioner Powell.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring up one other thing. Because I don't know, in the diagram, Melissa, that they have on the board representations, I don't know if these other, municipalities, if they have a central planning, commission like we do. I mean, I know that we're fairly unique, across the state, and so, I mean, I personally believe that it would be a disservice to the residents of the county, for us to not have, a vote on there, given, the extensive research and things that we, perform for all the municipalities. But it would be interesting to know among, what they've put in this graph here, if anyone, has a planning commission, like we do, and in a structure like this. Because again, I love the fact that, we're so, diverse, and it's just not a bunch of, politicians who have, all the same thought processes and, just groupthink everywhere.
Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, and coming back to that, I hope that we do give some serious thought and consideration to how we want to respond on behalf of this commission, because the risk of sounding melodramatic, it does call into question the very purpose of this commission to begin with. Are we here purely in an advisory capacity in all respects, or are we here in an official capacity with the ability to some extent speak for the will of the people who indirectly put us in these positions? And so it's no small thing to deprive this body of an opportunity to cast a ballot, and not just this body. We only speak for this body, but I think I heard 4 others who are in this situation. And while I sympathize with the notion of trying to preserve a direct vote for those who participate, it's not lost on me that the majority of voters already had that designation before this determination was suggested. So, yeah, I think this is serious enough to merit serious discussion among the esteemed members of this commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. I will say, too, it's disappointing. I was looking forward to being the TPO alternate, and knowing that we might lose the voting power just makes me sad in general. Thank you for the great information, Commissioner Powell. I'm sure we'll talk about this more as we move forward. Are there any more committee reports? Commissioner Rodriguez, did you have one?
I just wanted to say that the City of Tampa's March AHAC got canceled. We knew in advance that we weren't going to meet quorum, so we canceled that meeting, and our next scheduled meeting is April 20th.
Thank you. Yes, that quorum's a difficult one. All right. That's it for committee reports, I believe. All right. So moving on to our next item of business. That's it. No more business. Meeting is adjourned at 4:40 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for your time. And we will see you on the other side at, 5:30 for the public hearings. Meeting adjourned.